First of all, grab a drink or a snack because you are about to hear one story right now. A story that how one conversation with a person changed the whole perspective of my life. So, when I think of the person, all I can think right now is my sister. And when I think of my sister, all I see is one insanely powerful, bold, tough boss lady out there. And the fact that it's physically impossible to recall the number of lessons she has taught me in my life is just insane. It amazes me. And so, before starting the story, let me give you a little background for the plot. So, it's just another day in 2020, the pandemic year, and my sister had just finished her work from home, and she asked me to take a little walk around the park so that she can freshen up her mind from the daily hustle bustle and we can just breathe for some time in the nature. So as we went for the walk, I was really having a bad situation with school, friends and myself. I was really having a tough time then. And when I went for the walk, there was so much going on in my mind, just everything just spilled out of me. And how I was feeling at the moment. So a little background for that. A year back, I was not who I truly am. I was a person who was so nice that everyone was ready to take advantage of me in some way or the other. So I was a big people pleaser, and who was afraid of losing her friends, and I let people, especially my friends, treat me however the way they wanted, and life was just happening at the time, and I was the one who was left behind every time, as if every friendship of mine was just a competition to score the best grades in the class, a competition to get into the best colleges out there, a competition to be the most famous friend of the friend group. Everything was just one never-ending competition. So while I was taking the walk, like I said, everything just spilled out of me in front of my sister. And I told her everything, how all of the stuff was making me feel and how I was having a really hard time being happy. And also one thing that I told her, that I was one hell of a dependent person. So not just I was dependent for my my happiness to be controlled by my friends. One dependent person who always had a security in my mind that my sister would take care of every single thing that I come across. So growing up with my sister, everything that I have, I got that very easily, because my sister had learned the way, so she made me get the way. And as much as I'm thankful for that, that was becoming a bad thing in my mind, because I have to do one thing on my own. I cannot be dependent on my sister forever. And so when I just told her everything, how everything was um, was messing up with my mind, she, after listening to everything carefully and patiently, she started to tell me about some instances where I've gone through the same thing, I felt the same way, and I've been hurt the same way without even noticing it, without realizing it. I've ignored all the red flags coming through my friends, and how I've always been blinded by the manipulation that everyone around me could see it but not me. And she told me how everything that has been happening to me is at last my fault. And though I hated everything she was saying to me at the moment, now I realize how those words were so important to me that it just gave my mind a factory reset about how everything was just toxic, how my relationships with my friends, how the relationship with myself, how I manipulated myself into things. It was just not right and normal. And so when I started to feel a little guilty about myself, my sister told that I was not the only one going through all of this. She has gone through it. She has gone through many things in her life, and how she has learned the hard way, she wanted me to realize that how she has always got everything the hard way. And that's why she never gave me a warning of how dependent I was, how I was getting ahead in my life was wrong. She could see it, but she never gave me a warning about it, because she wanted me to fall down and get up by myself, finding my own way. That is, like I realized everything by myself, then I asked for her help by telling her everything. And she told me about her experiences, that everything goes through this stuff in high school. Like, high school is hard, and it was my last year in school, and I was about to pass out, and how I have to build up my future at this moment, and how I have to be strong enough to get that by myself. And she made me connect all the dots one by one. My cup is a little empty, so I'll just go and refill it. Till then, you have a chance to meet my sister and hear about her side of the story. Enjoy.
Hello everyone, as Tanish mentioned already, I am her elder sister. My name is Rhythm Singhai, and she told me that to give you my part of the story. So as just like all the younger sisters and younger brothers, they become quite offensive when you teach them lessons, or you tell them your stories, that how you have learned life lessons by your experience. Same happened with me as well, actually. Whenever I used to tell her my experience and what I've learned through my experience, how I have become more stronger day by day, more bold and more independent, she used to never listen to me, and she used to say, यार अभी क्या करना है ये सब सीख के, everyone is good with me, I'm good with them, nobody will take advantage and everything. More topic she used to completely hate it is whenever I started a conversation about her friends. this was the time she was the most offensive. I mean, whenever I called her friends mean, whenever I told her that, see, these are the things that they are doing and you are not realizing it, she used to be completely, she used to go blind and say like, no, they are very good, they are they are all friendly, and they are all good, and you don't say anything about them. And I used to wonder how she can take all these stuffs. How can she not see what is happening in front of her, which is quite evident? The day that she spoke that she is a people pleaser, I was completely in shock. Because the reason is that the biggest problem in people pleasing, or with the people who are people pleaser, is that they lose themselves. They literally lose themselves because they don't realize how they feel, how they actually feel. Even if they feel that this is wrong, or if they want to say no, they won't. And because of people pleasing, they will never deny to the fact that they are not feeling comfortable.
Okay, so now you have made it successfully to the last part of this story, where I share how this incident or how this conversation impacted my life. And the list is endless, but if I go to the details and specific points, so point number 1, it made me realize how it's so important to set boundaries for yourself, and it made me learn how to set boundaries for myself, when I have to say yes and when I have to say no to people, and how much I want to get them into myself or into my life, how much do I want them to affect me. So if I don't feel comfortable, I say it. If I don't feel like talking to someone, I'll just say it. I won't pretend to be interested if I'm really not. And if I'm not comfortable with going out with my friends, I'll say no. And if I think I cannot do something that my friends are forcing me to, or my friends are telling me to, I'll just say no. So these are some simple ways to set boundaries for yourself, which I learned. The second point is realizing that I'm not responsible for the way others project themselves, and I have to put myself first, no matter what the case is. It's not being selfish. You are not being selfish if you are putting yourself first in every situation. If you are seeing things for your benefit first, if it's going right for you or not, and you are not responsible for others' happiness or sadness. No, everyone is responsible for their own deeds and for their own results. The next thing that I learned is being in charge of my own happiness and being in charge of my own emotions overall. No one is responsible for making me happy, and vice versa. Period. The next thing that I learned is learning to be happy alone and to be self-sufficient. So it has been a long journey to do such learnings and unlearnings, and in the process I had to cut down all my toxic friends and cut down all my connection with them, because if someone cannot respect me, they are not meant to be in my life. So I had to be alone most of the time. I had to do all my stuff alone. I had to be my own company. That's when I realized that I can do everything by my own. I can make myself happy. I can be alone and be happy. I can thrive alone. Fifth thing that I realized, that it's okay if I'm not able to fit into a group of people. It's okay if I'm different from everyone, to make sure that I'm always being my authentic self in every situation that I am in. And if people cannot accept who I am, they just are not meant for me. And the last most important thing, I cannot stress on the fact or on how important this thing is, and most of people get it wrong. That is, it's always okay to ask for help. I also felt that I am weak if I ask for help. To become myself, to become the better myself, to work on myself, asking for help for that purpose. And also this thing came up when I was having a conversation with my sister. At last she told me how happy she was that I shared everything that was going on in my life with her, and how indirectly I asked for help, and how talking is very important. Talking about how you're feeling, talking about what you're going through always helps, to someone, to a professional, to your family member, no matter what it is. And you're always gonna be in a better position if you ask for help. So we should never think in such a way that asking for help is for the weak. No, it's for the strongest ones. So if you're watching till now, I just want to take a moment to thank you for listening up till now and listening to this story of mine, even though it was so uncomfortable feeling for me to share personal part of mine, and I'm sharing it with you. And yeah, that's a big thing for me, and that's a big achievement for me. From all the and whatever the learnings and unlearnings I did, it was all for good. That's what I know for sure. So thank you so much for listening, and yeah, have a great day.